Hey fam, Dad here. Hope you're having a great day. Uh, New parents, take note. On this video, I'm going to talk about the challenges I've had with my son over the past 18 years. Now, new parents out there, you're going to have challenges with your child. You're going to have several obstacles and challenges all throughout the life. My son is 18 years old. He's a freshman in college and playing football. He did running start all through high school, dual credit running start, and ended up with a 3.6 GPA. He was pretty active his whole life. He did Taekwondo between the second and seventh grade. And then from 8th to 12th grade, he did CrossFit and he also played football. He also worked part-time during his senior year as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of what he's accomplished and what he's done in life so far. However, there were some challenges. Here are a few that I want to share that really stood out over the past 18 years. We'll go in chronological order. The first challenge that really stood out was during, his toddler infant years, I don't know what, the ages of 12 to 24 months. He wasn't really talking a lot and he struggled to enunciate words. I thought that was kind of weird. Even as he was approaching 3 years old, he was still having challenges, difficulty speaking. It was really obvious. And also learning how to walk during that time as well. He was really delayed, really late. I want to say it's probably right around 18 to 20 months that when he started really learning how to walk. Doctors assured me it was fine. And look at him now. He's 18, he's walking fine. He's flat-footed, but no problems walking or running. And he also speaks pretty well for an 18-year-old. The next one was as far as potty training. My kid was late. He was shitting like a man in his diaper, during the 2 to 3-year-old range. It was pretty frustrating. The old saying was that boys really potty train later in life. That was right for my son. He really wasn't potty trained up until maybe his 4th birthday. He started getting the hang of it, but had the occasional accident. But look at him now. He's 100% potty trained, and he tells me he usually loses a few pounds first thing in the morning. The next challenge that really stood out during my son's 18 years, at least from my eyes, was the ADHD diagnosis. It was a tough one. Now, in a previous video, I shared that my son was diagnosed with ADHD. At the time, I thought he was just a kid. The first grade teacher talked about it. Second grade teacher talked about it. I just gave my benefit of doubt for my son. I didn't see him in the classroom, though. So, the teachers got that firsthand, and they have a lot of experience. I trusted them. They've seen hundreds of kids come in and out through their classrooms over the years. So I trusted them and the doctor. Eventually we got, he tested and he was, on the ADHD level. And, we did do medication with him. The medication seemed to be working. He was definitely a different person though. It was day and night, being on the medication versus not being on the medication. I didn't give him medication on the weekends or on, school breaks, summer breaks and whatnot. And then right before the 8th grade, my son wanted to stop taking the medication. I challenged him and he overcame it and excelled academically and athletically in school. And as I said earlier, he ended up taking dual credit running start in high school, ended up with a 3.6 GPA and received an academic scholarship in college. I did challenge my son and did my parent responsibility to hold him accountable academically throughout his middle school and high school career when he stopped taking those medications. The next one was, next stage in life was the adolescent life. It was pretty awkward, roughly right around the 12 to 16 year age range. I had to be patient but disciplined with him. He was very quiet, kept to himself for the most part, when he was home. Stayed in his room most of the time as well when he was home. But right around during the junior year of high school, that's when he started to blossom. started to be more social, be more talkative around me. So, just being patient during that age group, you end up, they're going through puberty, they're going through some awkwardness. All of us have been through it. Middle school is tough, and just trying to adapt, trying to find your identity is really hard and challenging. Just take a step back, support your child as much as you can during that time, but don't be overbearing. The last thing a kid wants going through puberty is an overbearing parent. The next challenge was teaching my son how to drive. He didn't catch on as fast as his sister. I shouldn't compare them, but just for this situation, I'll compare them. He wasn't catching on as fast, which was frustrating. We definitely had more coaching experience with my daughter, since my daughter's older and I was able to coach her first. So I was a little more patient, but I was still challenging to my son. Eventually, he did great. He actually did better than my daughter on the driving test. And to this day, he's had no at-fault accidents and no speeding tickets. The next challenge was being patient with my son during the football recruiting process. As I've said before, my son is not a big-time high school athlete. He really had to dig deep, and he had to sell himself to smaller colleges to play football. We did go through a lot of college visits throughout the Pacific Northwest. He had some interest from other states beyond the Pacific Northwest, but he wanted to stay in the Pacific Northwest. It was really interesting to go along the process with him, and having those discussions after the recruiting visits was really interesting. My son was very slow and meticulous in deciding what school made sense for him. Obviously, he wanted to make the right decision, and he did. Now, looking back, there was a lot of challenges, anxiety, fear, frustrations, but my son turned out great. I'm so proud for the man he is and will become. He exceeded my expectations and beyond. I visited him at college for the first time since I dropped him off, and he's doing great. So for you new parents or parents that are starting to raise a child, a family, multiple kids, you're going to have a lot of challenges raising a kid. Some bigger than others, but navigate through it with your child and support them. They'll appreciate it at the end and will open up to you more as they get older. Trust me, you want that bond with your child. Well, that's all I got, kids. Tell me your thoughts, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Again, these are my perspectives and views. I'm not a certified professional. I'm just a dad. So stay safe, stay positive, and be happy. Love you, Dad.